Hey everyone, welcome back to the workshop. It is fall time here and I've got a fun project. We're also going to be trying out the new xTool Studio software. I have not touched it before this project, so we're going to jump in, kind of see how that is. And we're going to be working with some true flat material. We've got a few different colors here with oak, black, and white, and we're going to make a layered Halloween sign. And so we're going to see how well that works in the new software. We'll cut this out on the xTool S1. I'll show you little tips and tricks of working with the true flat material, tips of working with the laser, and see how that software is. So at the end, I'll show you this whole project. And if you're interested, stay tuned. I'm going to jump right into it.
All right, so we're here in the new xTool Studio, and we're going to see if we can get this design made. This is my first time running the software, so let's go ahead and jump in. Similar look to XES. Things are kind of moved around a little bit. Looks like we have some file storage space. I know they have some cloud-based storage with this as well. Looks like templates from probably their Atom marketplace kind of thing that you can import, which is kind of nice. Nice that they have also material settings that you can jump around with. So we'll be looking at those later, but let's go ahead and just jump into a new project here. So it's going to spin up our workspace. Looks like we don't have anything defined by default. I believe up here we can select the device we're working with. So let's just go ahead and grab the S1 because that's what we'll likely be working on here. And they do have some tips that'll pop up so we can select our mode and then also our material. So nice little first time notifications there. Over on this right side, we have a lot of our toolbars. I think if you click on it once, it will expand. So here you have things, you know, your file and your saving. Looks like we have a number of tools under objects that would expand once we have things lit up. We have our save menu. We don't have any project here, so you can save it locally or MySpace. There's a quick shortcut to upload there. You have import. We can obviously import graphics and such. A lot of the same tools that looks like they used to have. They have some new ones: earring generator, keychain generator, box generator. That'd be interesting to look at compared to the others. So those are still there. We have our variety of elements. We have our basic shapes. We have our text, and then we have our AI tool. So this is where we're going to start with our design. Now this does take credits down here, so you'll need to be mindful of that. But we are going to do some image processing. I'm going to change this to not photo to silhouette, text and graphics. Oh, blade cutting. This will, yeah, pure silhouette. This will probably work out well for us. So now we're going to describe it. So create a round spider web. 1-to-1 aspect ratio, and that's fine. We'll let it create two options for us. It is saving some of our older items that we've been playing with here. This is all in your MySpace. All right, we have two examples here. You can mouse over them. There's that one. There's that one. I actually like this one a little bit better. So we're going to go ahead and import this to Canvas. So we have this, and it looks like it's, yeah, it's actually an SVG, so we can work with this. So we have our base spider web. Now I am going to make this to be a round sign. So I'm actually going to zoom out a little bit, move this here, and we are going to create a circle. I'm going to hold shift and drag. If I don't hold shift, it will not lock the aspect ratio. We want a perfectly round circle, and we want it to be, oh, you know what? I am going to change my units. Let's see, this is probably going to be in here in settings. Sorry, I have to think in imperial units still quite a bit. There we go. So let's make this a 9-inch round. 9 by, not, there we go, 9 by 9. That take effect? Yeah. You know what? Let's make it an even 10. We're going to lock this. 10. Oh, that unlocked it. Sorry. There we go. So next we need to make the next layer. We're going to combine the web with kind of an outer ring. So we're going to make a copy of this. Copy and paste. We'll bring it over to this side. And so we need to first make our outer ring. So I'm going to come up to the X menu here, whatever they call that, object and offset. And on these options, we want to have it go inner. So uncheck external, check inner, and we're going to bring it in 0.3 inches should be good. If you had more inner shapes, you might want to check that, but we're good here. So I'm going to go hit confirm. That moved it out there, and then we're going to hit confirm again to kind of lock it in place. All right, so now we need to combine these. So we're going to make it a compound vector. That should work. And then we want to make sure that this is grouped. So we're going to bring this over here. Now we need to size the web down just a bit. So we want it to where kind of the points of the web are hitting, but not overlapping the outer ring. So we're gonna connect these when done. So we just got to kind of slowly scale that down to size just big enough that we can still get connection points, but that it doesn't go outside. And then if we want, we can drag across these, and we should have up here, yep, align center. And just making sure that none of the points go outside of that. Now we can come here, and with this one, we should be able to unite. There we go. And now that is one solid piece. Those spider webs are joined in together. So that will be our second layer. There's our base layer. Now we need to go ahead and create all the kind of decorations. Let's come back into our AI tool, and let's go out of history and create a ghost. Let's just see what they generate. Okay, so we've got enough graphics to play with. Let's close this and let's come into our text tool. So we could do something as simple as boo, or actually we'll capitalize that. All right, so now we can come in here and find a fun font, of course. They have quite a few in here. Let's make this a little bit bigger, easier to see what we're doing. No, it's too fancy. Would work, maybe. Just going for something somewhat spooky-ish. Ooh, that could be interesting. Yeah. Okay. So we've got that, and now what we can do is we could do an offset of this as well. And let's do outer shapes only. Do external. We're just going to slide this up until we get a nice border. Doesn't need to be too big, but we want it offsetting the letters just to make them pop a little bit. Kind of like that. There we go. All right, so we've got that as an option. Going to need to scale it down a little bit. Something like that, maybe. I mean, it could go center, it could go on top. So we have all of our items ready. I even made another option for Happy Halloween, but I think for this one, we're going to go with the Boo design. So I'm going to be cutting this on true flat plywood, and that isn't in here as a material. So what I would need to do is, for example, we'll bring this in here, and you can still set your marking, your processing area and such. You would also need to use your measurement tool. I'm not connected to my S1 right now, but we'll do that out in the shop. So you set your auto measure, and then you set your processing area. We're going to move this over on the cut. I'm going to go 100% power, and my experience, most true flat plywood with this S40 or S1 40 watt And with the air assist on, about 14 millimeters a second, does cut through nice and cleanly, single pass. I'm also going to lower the focus just by 1. I wish I could go 1.5, but they only go by single digits. And so we're going to do that for all of these. Now, when I set up things such as this text, I'm actually going to cut both of these out of white. And then I'm going to use the outer one as a template. We'll show you that when we glue it up, but we'll actually cut the backer out of black, the letters out of white. And you know what? I'm also going to probably create some offsets for these individual items. So we would come in here again, go to our object, do the offset, and we're going to go external. And really, I don't need it too much, maybe 0.15. And we'll do outer shapes only. Yeah, I mean, maybe a little bit more. I see we're going to have to come in and just take that little bit out as well. But we want a backer just to make these pop as well. So I'll do the same thing for the spider. We'll create an offset of that one. Here again, we want it to be a border, not too much. Maybe a little bit more than that. Let's see what 0.1 looks like. Yeah, maybe 0.1. And then we can do it in an offset color. It'll just make these kind of pop. So again, all of these are going to be cut out of true flat. We're going to be using the same settings here. 100% power, 14 millimeters a second. And we are going to lower that focus 1 millimeter. So I'm going to get all these sent to the laser. We're going to be using the AP2 air filter as well. We're using the Smart Air Assist on there. And we'll see all the parts when they're done. All right, so we're going to start out with the first piece. I'm going to use the positioning system. You just align the crosshairs to the corners and it draws a square in the xTool Studio software. This is a really great way to get precise positioning of your items. And as you can see, it's going to go ahead and cut out the spider web. This is the piece that took the longest. I think it was about 9 minutes to cut this part out. All the others were much faster. But once it finishes it up, we can go ahead and pull it out. And you'll see everything does drop out except for just one little spot. I think the start-stop area maybe had just a small piece holding it on. But other than that, looking great. There is a little bit of vaporization that we'll need to clean up. The nice thing about this True Flat is a little bit of just cleaner, a light-based cleaner will wipe right off. So I'm going to go ahead and cut out the backer out of a piece of the oak-colored stuff. There you see the AP2. It's doing a nice job. I don't have this vented outside. It does keep the smoke moving and really very little escapes there. Here you can see I did use a small scrap piece to cut out the ghost. And we're also going to cut out the text. And you'll see I'm able to get it right up to the edges of here, really dialing in that space. And this is without the camera positioning. So really like that ability to lock that in. So we're going to go ahead and cut out the boo. And as I mentioned earlier, we're going to cut out the outside as well to act as a template. Then again, just getting right up to the edges there. And dropping in some black, we're going to get the backer for the boo letters. We're going to cut out the spider as well. Then we'll drop in another piece of white and get the other back pieces going. So it's assembly time. I'm going to be using some CA glue. I did go ahead and clean all these up with just a little bit of like, I think it's just like lens cleaner and terry cloth. So I'm just checking my orientation, maybe getting that grain side to side. And I'm going to use, this is a medium CA. I have the kicker if I need it, but I end up not using it. I'm just going to kind of put a ring around the outside and then hit some key points within the center and on the webs. You don't need to get it everywhere, just enough points to really lock it down. And then I'm going to just using my fingers, feel that edge, get them lined up. You don't really want to mess this up because that CA will lock down pretty quick. And then I'm just going to let that sit while I do these others. So we're going to layer up all the other ones. We're going to put the ghost on a black backer. Again, just kind of eyeballing the border. And here I'm using that template. So I'm going to just hold this in place and I'm going to use that to align the letters. So I'm being careful not to get too much glue towards the edges, just kind of on the sides and areas to get a grab on the base piece. And we'll very carefully hold that in place, drop it in the center, push it down a little bit, and then lift up the template, making sure it doesn't get glued to the backer. And then once that's set for about 10 seconds, go ahead and drop that template back on, kind of rinse and repeat for the other 2 letters, just pulling up that template each time, making sure it doesn't get locked in, getting all the letters in place. With that set aside, I decided I'm going to add some color to these others. These are some acrylic paint pens I like to use, and they're better than markers, but they kind of apply as markers. So just going to go ahead and add some orange to our jack-o'-lantern, going really well on that white true flat. And I'm going to set it aside. We're going to add a little brown stem to that one, but I'm going to set it aside for a bit, let it dry. We're going to go ahead and add a purple backer for the spider, just to kind of add some Halloween colors. And then kind of coming back, just doing a second coat. You want to let it dry first. Again, just kind of gives it a nice solid look. You see it doesn't really show a lot of streaks or paint lines there on either one of those. So once again, just lining these up, gluing them in place, just eyeballing them to try to get them centered on there. And we'll let those set aside for a bit while they dry. Now it's the time to really just use your artistic creativity, or lack thereof, figure out where you want to place these. I almost feel like this is a little bit too cluttered with all 3, but with a little bit of playing around with placement, decided on something I was happy with. And we're just going to go ahead and use a CA to lock these down again. And what I'm going to do is just kind of eyeball where it sits on the web. I want to make sure it hits a lot of the points, and then just get some CA on the webbing, not too much that it makes a mess, but just anywhere where it's going to hit that lettering, and then push it in place, let it sit for about 10 seconds. We'll move on to the others and kind of rinse and repeat, putting them in place. You could use an adhesive backer when you're cutting these out, make it a little bit easier, but that is a little more cost than the glue, and this seemed to work okay. Now thinking about the hangers, I have used these in the past. These are some laser cut wall hanger options. I've got a shark tooth one, a triangle one, and then kind of a keyhole one. I'm going to end up using the triangle one, just put it on the back there. That'll be how we hang it on the wall.
And there you have it, our Halloween sign all complete, and complete with a little hanger on the back. I went with the triangle one. This will work well with some of like the hook hangers, the various ones that you can use either a nail or such on there. And yeah, we'll be able to hang that there. The acrylic markers work really well for adding some extra color in there. They're looking nice and solid. And in general, the true flat material working great for this. So I'll have links down below to the material. I'll have links to the markers and the glue. And then also I'll have links down to the xTool equipment I use. The S140 watt has been a staple in my basement workshop. It tied with that AP2 air filter. I'm able to work there without having to vent out the smoke all the time. And so it's a really nice combo for a small shop, maybe a home shop or a small business. And one that I continue to use, even though I have access to a variety of other machines out here in my primary shop. So I'll have links down below to that. If you're watching this at the time of this video, they do have their 5th anniversary sale going on. So maybe check that out. If you're looking at some of the xTool products, you can save a little bit of money down there. And as always, love when you use my link. It's a great way to support this channel. But as always, just happy to pass on some good information on how to use your lasers with projects like this. So if you do have any questions about this project, the lasers or equipment, anything, hit me up down below in the comments. Otherwise, another good way to get in touch is Sunday nights, 7 p.m. Central Time. I go live with the Clack Shack for a couple hours. We answer a lot of questions about lasers, 3D printers, CNC routers. We talk a little bit about projects that are going on in our shop, maybe new equipment. So if you want some real-time interaction with us, have a question that you want to get both of our opinion on, that's a great way to check it out as well. Thanks again for watching this video. Check out all the links down below, hit the like button on your way out, and hey, hope to see you in a future project. But I really hope you can get out in your workshop and make something too. We'll catch you next time.